Hello, and welcome to this episode. Today, we're going to talk about something that I find really interesting, namely spirituality and grief, and also all the mysterious ways we stay connected to those we've lost. From signs and dreams to white feathers and energy healing, we explore how loss can sometimes open us up to something bigger than ourselves. Whether you're spiritual, skeptical, or somewhere in between, this is a space for honesty, curiosity, and comfort. Thank you for being here with us. Can I say something before we start? Because I feel like this is a thing I've noticed with a few people I know. They go through something like a breakup or divorce, and all of a sudden they are so into horoscopes and anything that can tell them something about their future or reasoning for why this happened. Will I find someone again? When? And so on.
Okay, this is kind of new to me. Do people really do this? Maybe to seek answers, and that makes sense in a way, and I get it. And I must say, I think this is kind of a tricky topic. I don't know how to explain why I feel this way. I just do, because I think it touches into people's different beliefs, maybe. So that's kind of a touchy subject. And I must also say, I was never the spiritual type. I've always been a bit curious for sure, but I was never reading my horoscope or visiting fortune tellers before. But after losing my husband, something changed in me because I actually started experiencing things that I can't explain. I mean, things that might have scared me off before.
Ooh. I love this topic, really. It's so fascinating to me. So tell us what you experienced. Were there any moments where you felt the presence of your husband after he passed?
Well, yeah, it was. I must say, for weeks and actually months after he died, I could hear him coming home. I knew he was gone, like in my head, I knew, but in my body, it was like he was still part of the rhythm of the house in a way. I would hear the door open, his footsteps on the floor, even his bag hitting the floor in the hallway. And for a tiny second, it just felt normal, like he was home from work. Because, he worked offshore for years on a rig in the North Sea. He was away for 2 weeks and home for 4. And that's how the rotation was. So I was kind of used to him being gone for stretches of time. And it was like my brain was trying to keep that pattern alive in a way, or maybe he was just checking in on me. I don't know.
Wow, maybe.
Yeah.
It's so wild how the body and the heart remembers, even when the mind knows the reality. Do you think, though, I mean, truly, do you think it was him somehow?
Hmm. I don't know. I do, or at least I really wanted to believe that. Not in a Hollywood ghost kind of way, but in this very subtle, loving way. Because I do believe that our energy doesn't just disappear. And love, I think love finds a way to stay connected in a strange way. And I must say, it wasn't scary. It wasn't sad either, weirdly enough. At the time, it was kind of comforting, like he was telling me, I'm still here. Hello. Hello from the other side.
Yeah, that's beautiful. And honestly, I think a lot of people experience these things, but they're scared to talk about it because they don't want to sound, crazy for hearing or seeing something. But it's real, I really think it is. Grief opens up something in us that's so much bigger than what we can explain, maybe.
I think that's the thing. Even though I get that it sounds crazy to some, because when you're grieving, you're just so raw, so open to everything around you in a different way. It's like the walls we usually have up between this world and whatever else is out there. Those walls are thinner. I mean, you feel everything differently.
Did you have other signs too, like dreams or other things you want to share?
Yeah, me and my dreams. I've had quite a few special ones.
You have?
Yeah. But in the beginning, I had dreams where my husband was just there, not speaking, not doing anything dramatic, just sitting with me or even lying next to me. And I woke up feeling peaceful, like I'd really spent time with him somehow. And I mean, this feels a bit weird to say out loud, but
Why? It
yeah,
shouldn't. I love that you dreamt that and that it made you feel that way. It must have been comforting in a way.
for sure it was. Yeah.
I also remember that you told me about white feathers. Can you share that story with us? Or the
Yeah.
stories?
The white feathers. I started noticing white feathers everywhere all of a sudden after he passed. They just kept sailing into my life all the time, kind of out of the blue. And yes, I know feathers do that. I know some people might say, okay, but feathers exist, birds shed them, and there's this thing called wind who blows them around, and that's just nature. But it wasn't just that, it was when and where they showed up. I mean, they were everywhere.
Yeah, I believe it. It gives me chills. Tell me more.
Well, it happened quite a few times right after he passed. I remember the first time I opened the patio door from the living room right where he died. A white feather came flying in, I mean, in my face. And as I said, they were everywhere. While I was standing outside walking my dog or even crying in my car, all of a sudden a white feather would float down and land right in front of me. And it just felt like I don't know, a quiet reminder, kind of, a little, I'm here. I don't know, it might sound silly, but it gave me kind of a strength at the time. And to be honest, still to this day, I see feathers as a sign from above or, from beyond.
That is so beautiful. And I can understand you feeling that. White feathers are something I feel symbolizes heaven or somebody passing, if that makes sense. Not
Hmm,
just because it's a beautiful thought, but also because when you're grieving, your senses become heightened. Like your body and mind are more open to things you wouldn't have noticed before, maybe, like you said before.
definitely. As we talked about, you become so hyper aware of everything around you. And I think nature has a huge role in that. I felt more connected to everything around me after my loss. I could feel energy in a way I never had before.
It's interesting though, because there's actually some science behind this. Studies show that after trauma or grief, our brains literally change. We become more sensitive to certain stimuli, and our perception of the world can shift.
That makes total sense because it wasn't just feathers. It was the feeling of someone being near when I was completely alone.
It's comforting though, isn't it? Even if we don't have all the answers, just the feeling like there's more than we see can bring peace.
Yeah, that's really true.
I also know you experienced something else that was quite special when, or in the moment when your husband passed. Is that something that you're willing to share?
Um, this feels a little personal to share, but yeah, why not? We're sharing all the real stuff here anyway. And
Yeah.
honestly, I think it's a beautiful thing. It really helped me in those early days. Because when he died in that exact moment, I had this really strong experience. It felt like his energy moved into me. I know that might sound strange to some, but it was such a powerful and comforting feeling and almost physical. It was like he left a part of his strength behind, kind of like he gave me what I needed to keep going.
Wow. That's not strange at all, Nina, I think. And honestly, I believe that it's really beautiful. It's hard to even find the right words for it, but it feels so right, you know? He loved you so much, and of course, he would leave a part of that love and strength with you. It's like he made sure that you had something to hold on to, even when everything else changed. I'm really glad that you share that because it says so much about your bond.
Yeah, I guess it does. It really was something, and it's hard to explain in words, but it gave me so much comfort when I needed it the most. So it's a special moment for sure.
I've also heard it's not the same thing, but in the moment when somebody passes, it's almost like you can feel or hear that the soul leaves the body. I've never been present when anyone died before, but I heard that it's noticeable the last breath someone takes. And that gives me chills, actually.
I get it. This was definitely a feeling I wasn't expecting, or I don't know what I was expecting really, because you can never prepare for this. But for me, this was real. I felt it, and he held me in his arms when he died. So we were close, and it was really powerful, I must say.
Wow. And so sad, really, too.
Sad and beautiful at the same time, I think.
Yeah. Over to something else, but did you feel a connection to something bigger than yourself when you were grieving, if that makes sense?
I don't know if you could say something bigger. I mean, I would say became more present, more aware and open, if that answers your question. The forest is my church, and nature and music, for instance, things you can sense in a real life, became bigger for me back then.
Yeah, I can really see that, how nature would feel even more important to you. It's always been kind of your safe place, hasn't it? I
Mm.
mean, I would call you, and I still do, and you're always out in the forest or hiking or running or dipping yourself in ice cold water.
Yeah, not as much now as before, but back then, yeah.
But besides nature, how did music, like you said, play a part in helping you process everything? Did it bring you comfort? Because music can be very healing, I think. I'm moving a bit away from the spirituality here, but since you mentioned it,
For sure. I mean, music is really healing, and honestly, I just love music. I couldn't live without it, I think. All kinds of music, really. It can bring out so many emotions and memories. It's such a beautiful thing. But music can also be really painful. And, the playlist he made for his own funeral, those songs are almost sacred to me now. And I'm not always ready when one of them suddenly plays. And I remember once I was at the gym, and out of nowhere they played Holy Diver, and I just had to leave. It was too much. Those songs can still make me really, really sad. But other times they feel healing. So I guess the important thing is I have to be the one deciding when to listen. It has to be on my terms.
yeah, I totally get that. Some songs just carry so much meaning. And sometimes in the moment when you're going through something traumatic or even romantic,
Mhm.
a song played on the radio, for instance, can feel like it was meant for you also, like a sign. But those songs that he chose, even when I hear them play, it means something. I think about him, and sometimes it makes me sad, like you said, and I have to turn it off, or sometimes I just continue to listen and think about memories.
Yeah, special songs for sure.
Yeah. But going back to the bigger picture, do you think your experience with grief has changed the way you see spirituality or maybe deepened it in some way?
Yeah, I think so. And as I said, I think this is mostly due to the fact that you become more aware of it when grieving, more open.
So it's like grief can open up a new kind of spiritual awareness.
I guess you could say that. I think grief can open something up in you, but you have to be willing to let it. And of course, we are all so different. But for me, yes, I definitely became more open. You can sit and try to explain it, analyze it, look for a logical reason behind it. And I mean, some people need that proof, facts, something solid. But honestly, I didn't and don't need that now. It helped me survive those early days. So for me, that's more than enough. If I see a white feather, you know,
That is a sign.
it's a good thing for me.
Yeah. And I mean, even if someone could explain it away scientifically, who cares? If it gives you comfort, if it gives you connection, that's real enough.
Exactly. Grief is not logical, and love isn't logical either. It's okay to believe in the magic some days. I mean, I think we need that, especially when life has shattered all your certainties.
You know, it's interesting because I always thought I wasn't very spiritual, but listening to you and hearing from others that I know, and also thinking about people that I've lost, I realized that there are so many little moments that I even can't explain. Sometimes I feel like someone is behind me for real, so I turn around and and then I just start talking to them, whoever I think it is in that exact moment, like my stepdad or my husband's grandmother or even my grandfather, the calmest and kindest guy I've ever known, by the way.
Mm.
Then I just have a little short conversation with them and move on with my day. It's a strange feeling, actually. Maybe spirituality isn't about having all the answers. Maybe it's just about being open enough to notice the signs.
Mm. I love that. And the one you have behind you, the one you're hearing, is your guardian angel.
Hmm.
Mm. But what you said, being open, that's exactly it. And not judging yourself for what you feel or experience, because the truth is, when someone you love dies, they don't just disappear. Their love, their impact, the memories, they're kind of stitched into you. And maybe they find little ways to remind you that they're still around. I mean, who knows?
That is such a comforting thought and such an important thing to share because if you're out there grieving and you feel these signs, it's okay to believe in them. You're not imagining it. You're not crazy. You're just connected.
Exactly. And if it helps you heal, if it brings you one small moment of peace, that's all that matters. But thinking about energy and those kinds of experiences, it actually makes me think of something else I really want to share. It's about my friend. We can call her the healer. You know who I'm talking about, right?
Yes. I love her.
Yeah, she's honestly one of the most special people I know, in a good way. So, when my boyfriend was really sick and had just been in the hospital, he struggled a lot with relaxing. His pulse was high, and just walking a few meters completely drained him. And I remember asking him if it was okay for me to call her because I just wanted to help him find some peace, anything that could help. So she came over, and I'll be honest, I didn't really know what to expect, but I knew it couldn't be wrong. I mean, she's such a beautiful human being anyway, so having her there wouldn't be wrong in any ways.
Yeah, she really is. Tell us what happened next.
Well, she placed her hands over him, just gently touching, and he said he could feel warmth spreading through his whole body. And for the first time in days, he looked relaxed. I mean, really relaxed. His breathing slowed, his face softened, and it was like the stress and pain just melted for a little while. It was such a powerful and beautiful moment, and it made us cry, I think all of us. I mean, the energy was so powerful and fulfilling and actually hard to explain. But I must say, he slept for hours after.
That is amazing. But I must ask the question that maybe more than me is wondering after hearing this, because when you say the word healer, and I don't mean to be negative or a non believer in any way, but did she actually heal him? Or is that not the intention? The word healer, I guess, can mean so much.
Well, his cancer didn't go away, if that's what you mean. And even if someone listening is skeptical, I think that moment proved something important. Healing isn't just physical, it's energy, intention, presence. And whether it was spiritual or just human connection, it helped him at the time and me. And
Huh. Yeah.
Plus, she has helped me before too in so many ways, and that's why I wanted to call her in the first place, because I knew that it healed me, not just physically, but also emotionally. And once I had the worst back pain and she came to my rescue, her hands radiate this warmth that is hard to explain. You have to experience it, but it's even more than that. She has this incredible presence of pure comfort and calming energy that's been a huge part of healing my soul as well. So lucky to call her a friend.
Wow. Warm and healing hands. I need her to come put them on my neck.
Uh-huh.
No, but honestly, what a blessing it is to have friends that can calm you in general and that are there to help in any way.
Yeah, she helped him and us for sure that day, and I'm blessed for sure.
Yeah. Also, when it comes to loss after losing someone, whether you believe in an afterlife, in energy healing, or just in the power of love and memory, I mean, if it brings you comfort, it's real for you. Whatever works to make you feel better, I guess.
Yeah, and I think grief almost invites us to explore these things more. Because when you've lost someone, you also start asking bigger questions. I mean, where are they? Are they watching over us? Will we meet again? And so on. Many questions.
And no one has those answers for sure. But maybe that's the beauty of it, being open to the possibility of something greater.
Yeah, not being afraid to find comfort in what feels right for you.
So maybe that's one of today's takeaways. Grief doesn't just take things away, it also gives. It can open your heart to things you never considered before. And if you find comfort in science and nature and spirituality, even horoscopes, then that's
Mhm.
a beautiful thing.
Absolutely. And I hope everyone who's had these experiences knows they're not crazy, they're just human.
And being human is pretty magical.
It really is.
So, back to what I started with horoscopes and people seeking answers on their future or trying to find answers in astrology. Do you believe in this?
Actually, I don't know too much about the topic and never really seek out my horoscope and stuff, so not for me to answer. But I did actually visit a psychic lady once, or a fortune teller. I mean, me, the skeptic.
Yeah, I remember you told me about that. Something I could never do, I think. It does intrigue me though, but I would be too scared if she could see bad things or things I don't want to know, if you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm. I totally understand, but I don't think they would actually say that, or I know they won't. And I must admit that I find it quite interesting, but also it's a very personal experience, and I don't want to share all of it. I mean, what she told me.
Don't worry, I get it. I have a few friends that have been to see her too over the years, and some of the stuff she told them is so accurate. It would for sure be so interesting to actually sit down with her and hear her story and how she found out that she had these abilities or gifts, you might call them.
Definitely. I mean, I must say that experience was something else, I promise you. And I was actually kind of convinced to go sit with her because one of my close friends had such good experiences seeing her. And I have to admit, I was kind of curious, but still super skeptical.
Yeah, sounds like you. So, what finally made you say yes then?
Well, I finally agreed, but only if my friend booked the session for me and if she drove me there. You know how I am. I wasn't going to risk her Googling anything or giving away my name beforehand. So she knew nothing about me when I came.
That's classic Nina.
Uh-huh.
Oh, but you wanted to make sure that she couldn't cheat. No, no information about you. before you
Uh-huh.
came.
Yeah, it's an easy thing to do, today. You can just Google away.
Yeah, I guess.
Hmm. Let me tell you, I even prepared for it. Wearing plain clothes looked as normal and boring as I could, and because I didn't want to give anything away. And at first, we just talked about random things, totally casual. But then, when she actually started the session, I mean, wow, she was spot on right away.
Right, really? How spot on.
I mean, she asked me straight away about something almost no one knew. I mean, it was just mind blowing because she knew, and it was so weird.
Hmm.
And she described my husband and my sons and actually my life at that point so accurately. And I mean, it gave me goosebumps all over, and it was so, so, so strange.
Wow. I remember you telling me after that too, things that she
Mhm.
said. It's really interesting for sure.
Yeah. And she even let me record the whole session. So I actually have proof. And it was just, as I said, just mind blowing.
That's crazy. I'm getting chills just, thinking back, hearing the stories and hearing it again now. But it's very cool that she let you record it so that you could listen to it after. Because I'm sure in the moment, in the presence there, you could forget things after.
Mm, that's the thing. So I've heard it a couple of times actually. And
Hmm.
yeah, it's still mind blowing.
Yeah.
Enough said, I guess. Maybe too personal. I won't go into details. And I must say, this was a one time thing for me. I will not go there again. But it was a good experience for sure. And it gave me kind of comfort, I must admit. It was a good experience. Next subject, please.
No way we're moving on that fast. But honestly, that's incredible, Nina. And it doesn't matter what people believe or not. You felt it, you lived it when you experienced it. And that was real. And I think it's so brave of you to share something so personal, though, I must say.
Thank you. Sharing, but not oversharing. That's okay.
Right.
Right.
But speaking of spirituality, I remember that Norwegian tradition you told me about, how we open the window after someone has passed. I didn't know this until you told me.
Yeah. We do that in hospitals too. I remember from when I worked there, when someone passed away, we opened the window to let their spirit out. It's such a simple yet powerful thing, I think. It's like we're acknowledging that they're still here in some way, just in a different form.
Such a beautiful tradition, really, to let the soul fly to heaven or wherever else anyone would like to imagine we go after we die.
Very beautiful indeed.
But yeah, I actually read up on this. I dug deeper because I found it really interesting, especially in the context of looking at how different cultures approach death. So many have their own beautiful traditions around it. In Mexico, for instance, and I think this is one of my favorite traditions. They celebrate Dia de los Muertos. I don't know if I say that correctly,
Sounds
but
correct.
the Day of the Dead, where families honor their loved ones who have passed. They believe their spirits return to visit, and they set up altars with offerings of their favorite foods, drinks, and photos. And it's such a heartfelt way of keeping their memories alive.
I love that. It's not about loss, it's about connection in a way. It's beautiful.
Yeah, just remembering them, seeing them on, the photo and talking about them. I think it's a nice tradition that you come together and do that on one day a year. I love
Hmm.
that. And in some Buddhist traditions, they believe in reincarnation, that the soul moves on to another life. In some indigenous cultures, they believe in ancestral spirits guiding them. There's this common theme across the world that death isn't just the end.
I think maybe that's why so many people who are grieving find comfort in science. I'm definitely not alone in that. One of my closest friends went through something really similar as me, and she lost her husband too. And She is very spiritual, actually.
Yeah. What kind of things has she experienced?
Well, she told me after he passed, her husband, that she would sometimes feel his gentle stroke on her arm, like an actual physical touch, almost like he was still there comforting her.
Hmm.
And it was so subtle, but so real to her, like his way of saying, I'm still here.
Wow. That's incredible. And honestly, really comforting, I think.
It is. And I remember feeling a bit jealous actually when she told me. I mean, not in a bad way, just wishing I'd had something like that too. I felt my husband's energy. I heard him coming home. I knew he was with me in a way, not in a physical, touchable way like she told me about. So, anyway, we talk a lot about spirituality, her and I, and she's one of those people who just gets it, you know? We can talk about anything, no filters, and I really treasure that friendship I have with her.
It's so important to have someone like that, especially someone who's walked a similar path that you.
Hmm. And you know what's interesting? I've actually read that there's some science behind why we might experience these kinds of things when we're grieving. Because,
Hmm.
yeah,
Tell me.
so studies have shown that the brain is wired to maintain connections with people we love even after they're gone. It's called the continuing bonds theory. And it says our brains expect them to still be there, and sometimes that translates into hearing them and feeling them or sensing them. So I guess we experienced the same connections, but hers was more physical.
That makes sense. And I think there's also something to be said about energy. Science tells us that energy doesn't disappear, it just changes form.
Yeah, I remember my sons talked about this after losing their dad, that we are all just energy, really.
Hmm.
And that's why I think nature is so important when you're grieving because it's full of energy. You know, the trees, the water, the wind, everything is alive in a way. And when I was deep in my grief, I found so much healing just being outside in the nature.
I love that. There's actually research that shows that hugging a tree can lower stress and improve well being.
That doesn't surprise me at all because when you hug a tree, you can feel its energy. It's grounding, and I've tried it for sure. And just walking in the forest, breathing in the fresh air, and touching the leaves, it's like nature reminds us that life is still moving, still growing, even when you feel stuck in your grief and pain.
It's like the ultimate teacher, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Nature just knows how to exist. It doesn't resist change, it flows with it, I guess you could say.
And maybe that's something we can take with us. Grief changes us, but maybe it also expands us. It opens us up to new perspectives, new connections, new ways of seeing the world.
Absolutely. And whether that's through spirituality, nature, or just a deepening of your own inner world, I guess you can say it's kind of a transformation.
And maybe that's what love does. It doesn't end with death, it just shifts into something we can't see but feel.
Mhm. And for anyone listening, if you felt those signs, those whispers of someone still being near, don't doubt them. Maybe they're real in ways we don't fully understand yet.
Maybe love is energy, and energy never disappears.
That's exactly how I feel. Love is energy. Beautifully said.
So now let us end this episode by reading our horoscopes.
Yeah.
um, Being born on the cusp of Virgo and Libra, Katrine embodies a blend of analytical thinking and artistic charm. This unique combination allows for a balanced approach to life's challenges and opportunities. The year encourages leveraging both Virgo's precision and Libra's diplomacy in professional settings. Careers that require both logical and creativity, such as teaching, design, or law, are particularly favorable. Focusing on maintaining both physical and mental balance is essential. Incorporating routines that promote well-being and self-care will be beneficial throughout the year. Okay, your turn.
Okay, so here is mine. General outlook in 2025. Aries individuals are encouraged to embrace their natural leadership qualities and channel their energy into personal and professional growth. This year brings opportunities to showcase your ideas and take initiative in various aspects of life. April 9, 2025 specifically is favorable for Aries to reconsider long-term plans and possibly explore new career paths. Confidence peaks, making it an ideal time to present ideas and take bold steps forward. Okay. Maintaining a balance between activity and rest is crucial. Engaging in outdoor activities and staying connected with nature can provide rejuvenation and clarity. Oh my God. Why didn't I read horoscopes before?
Did you actually write that yourself?
No, Deluxe Astrology told me.
Oh, well, enough
Well,
said. Thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you liked this episode as much as we did. Bye bye.
Nina had a dream, all black and white. We were talking in English, yeah, that ain't right. Two Norwegian sisters miles apart, but that dream lit a fire, put a mic to the heart. Katrine's in the States, Nina's back home. Two voices, one mission through the microphone. Grief and life, the highs and the lows. We hit record, where the file go? Oh, we fumble, we stumble, but baby we shine. Lost the intro, never mind. Wi-Fi shaky, cables crossed, but our hearts stay strong, no moment lost. From a dream to the mic, now the world can hear. Two sisters telling truths with a laugh and a tear. We live, we learn, we sip, we sigh. Talking love, talking lost, let the echoes fly. Grief walks in, pulls up a chair, says I'll stay a while, yeah, life ain't fair. But we mix it with laughter, a toast in hand, finding light where the dark still stands. Ba-da-da-boo-doo, is this thing on? Mic's on mute, oh well, move along. Ba-ba-dee, ba-ba-da, take two. Oops, too late, let's laugh it through. From a dream to the mic, now the world can hear. Two sisters telling truths with a laugh and a tear. We live, we learn, we sip, we sigh. Talking love, talking lost, let the echoes fly. So plug in, lean in, let's take our time. No script, no filters, just rhythm and rhyme. We're here, we're now, we're in our prime. Two sisters, one dream, on the mic.